Yo, 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 yo. Yo.
How much time's left? That's why we're waiting. I know what it is.
Yo. Hey. Hey. Daylight come and me one go home. Hey. Hey. Daylight come and me one go home. Atrioc stream at work finally. Yes, dude. I'm trying to make sure you don't have to do any work. I'm trying to make sure you don't have to type one thing in Excel or send one email, bro. I want you to relax, chill, watch some news, skip some meetings. I just got tariffed yesterday. Well, depending on the type of tariff, you may be due for a refund. Although I think actually you have to, I'll talk about this in a bit. The Trump press conference is in any second now. So I'm trying to see whether I want to do a little presentation on what happened before or after. I want to see. Why are you built like a retired golfer and you spelled built and retired wrong? Bro, why is your brain built like a fucking cracked out Gen Alpha Roblox player? Hey, Truck, wait, is Canadian hockey? No, it's not till Sunday. Oh, you mean the semis? They're going to win the semis, bro. Don't you worry about Canada in the semis, dude. Did you see USA Women's Hockey beat Canada? I did. There's no possible way Canada could lose in the semis. I mean, I would taunt God. I'm telling God there's no way he could even possibly make that happen. It's impossible, okay? Any god of any religion couldn't possibly stop. Yo! Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Here's the press conference, by the way, coming in live here any second. Hello, EU frogs. Actually, people who are from different countries are even more relevant today because the tariffs are all on their countries. They have been struck down by the Supreme Court. Why is Trump always late? I mean, he's probably getting a fucking primer on what the fuck he's got to say. It's kind of crunch time. I think they legitimately thought they would not be struck down. Does this mean we have to refund them all? Yeah, the ones under the international emergency economic powers, the ones, not all of his tariffs, but the majority of them have to be refunded. Here, let's do a quick. I'll put this down to low, and then if it turns on. All right, look. We gotta go fast here because he's about to speak live, and I want to catch you up. So look, you guys remember? Oh, wow, this is fixed. Do you guys remember this? Liberation Day. Donald Trump came out and unilaterally imposed tariffs on basically every nation on Earth. Reciprocal tariffs. Again, the formula on this was from ChatGPT, and it wasn't good, but this is the idea. Reciprocal tariffs on every nation on Earth. Well, okay. It turns out that our system, our constitutional system, is pretty clear that he does not, as the executive power, the president, have the power to do that. We do have a thing called the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, which was written in 1977. which allows the president to have some leeway over certain things with regards to sanctions and asset freezes. But it's like small scale. And that hadn't been used for 50 years. And then out of nowhere in April, Trump pulled it out to say, we are in an emergency situation with every nation on earth. Again, the important word here is emergency. Are we really in an emergency with France? Are we in an emergency with some island in South? Are we in an emergency with every nation? Is it an emergency? And he would say, yes, it was all because of drug smuggling and trade deficits, and every nation there was an emergency. Okay, so that's what we got to this moment. So as of today, they finally struck that down. And I thought it was pretty interesting because this is the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is 6-3 Republican, okay? Majority Republican. And in fact, 3 of them were appointed by Trump himself. So Neil, Amy, and Brett here are appointed directly by Trump. So when the vote today came 6-3 against Trump, who do you think voted for Trump? Who do you think was on his side? Well, you're probably wrong. Because it wasn't these guys. I mean, it was one of them. But in fact, 2 of them voted against the tariffs. Okay? These were the 3 who voted to keep the tariffs. What's interesting is, even in their dissenting opinion, they basically said, yeah, these tariffs are illegal, but boy, it's going to be a pain. Like the dissent, again, I haven't gone through the full dissent, but basically they're like, we really can't be fucking around with the after this long. So like everybody basically agrees. The Constitution is so clear. And again, I know everybody here fell asleep or was on their phone during civics class. So very briefly, we got 3 branches of power in America. We got the executive, we got the legislative, and we got the judicial. It's supposed to be kind of balanced, checks and balances. This is Trump, okay? This is Congress, and this is the Supreme Court. And they kind of balance each other out. And the idea in the Constitution is that they have certain powers that are unique to each one. Specifically, and this is very specific, Congress has the power to do taxes, duties, imposts, and excises. Tariffs. Okay. Congress has this one. Like, this one is so direct. Congress has it. It's not like there's not like a lot of wiggle room. Okay? It's just super clear. Now, there's like small rules that have been written over the years that give like little bits and pieces to other sections. But what they lay down in today's ruling, in today's 6-3 Supreme Court ruling, is basically what's called like the major questions doctrine, which says if something is big enough, if something has a huge amount of economic impact, like, for example, when Joe Biden tried to unilaterally refund all student loans, $500 billion of student loans, they struck that down. There was something about the EPA where the executive treasury, there's like different examples of like, they're like, hey, if it has like hundreds of billions of dollars of economic impact, Congress has to approve. You can't just do it. Congress has to approve. So that's why even the Republicans, not all of them, but 2 of them, I'll say these 2, flipped. That's why they flipped. And they, it was 6-3 majority, basically said, we can't give this much power to the president. Like, otherwise, Congress doesn't even matter. Like, otherwise, this part of it, this bottom right part, where like a ton of our votes go, what represents all the different states, doesn't even matter. So, Trump's about to speak in a second. We're going to see what he has to say. That's the major catch-up. What is interesting is that this leads to a lot of refunds. Okay? There are thousands of companies in line who have already sued prior to this ruling saying, hey, I don't think the tariffs are constitutional and I want a refund. And so it is going to be, it's like $150+ billion that is in line for thousands of companies, big and small. I'm showing the big ones. And even Amy Coney Barrett, who voted for this, who voted to strike down the tariffs, goes, it seems to me like it could be a mess. So I don't know how America is going to handle this. I do think Trump's going to find loopholes to try and keep the tariffs active, at least through the midterms. However, I don't know. We don't even have the money. It's not like we have the money in a big vault somewhere. We're going to have to like borrow more to pay this. How do we give the money back to these companies? Basically the tariffs they already paid. I'm not 100% certain. This is going to be a wild time. What is interesting, and I'm going to say this last thing before we go to the live press conference, is that Howard fucking Lutnick, do I have a photo? Insert photo here if we do a clip of Howard Lutnick. The Epstein Files guy, which is what I'm going to call him from now on because he lied about hanging out with Epstein. And Howard Lutnick's family of his firm Cantor Fitzgerald has been buying up this tariff debt nonstop for months. Basically, they would go to a company and say, hey, we don't know if the tariffs are going to get, you don't know if the tariffs are going to get struck down or not. So sell us what your debt is. And if they get struck down, we'll get all the upside. And if not, you'll get a cash payment now. So they basically said, like, if the government might owe you $10 million, we'll give you $2 million and then we'll get the gap. We'll get the $8 million gap if it gets struck down. So, you know, Howard Lutnick has been betting, his family has been betting against the tariffs massively. So they got like a piece of all of these. They've been buying it up for months and now he's going to make a fortune, which is crazy. It's just, oh, it's like insane corruption. So not only is the Epstein Files, but it's like, and they say it's because it's his sons, not him, but it's just insane, bro. Anyway, that brings us to now where Trump is going to explain why this is a good thing for his great economic plan. Oh, he's not here yet. He's insanely late. He's insanely late. Maybe he'll come out here and talk about UFOs and aliens, because that seems to be his new strategy to distract from the Epstein Files and anything else. Maybe he'll just say UFOs, Dow 50K. The stock market is up, by the way, because tariffs have had a negative economic impact. You know, overall, people are thinking, oh, this could be a good sign. I will say, not to get too in the weeds, but this only strikes down the tariffs that were imposed under this Emergency Economic Powers Act. This one right here, okay? Some of the tariffs were imposed under different acts, like the ones on China, the ones on aluminum, the ones on steel. And he's going to try and force some of the other tariffs into those buckets. But those buckets take review periods and comment periods and time. So they can't just be done with like a single stroke of the pen, which is what he's been doing. So again, it's going to get messy. It's just going to get really messy. By the way, I do have to say, I mean, I think this is the right decision, but boy, am I, after this conference I was at, there was a guy speaking about the different speeds that America and China are moving at. And he basically said that, like, America, of course, has the potential. They've got the economic heft. They have the geography. They have the resources. But the political gridlock and chaos is what's really fucking us over. And this is just another example, man. Like, this is, you know, every trade deal we've been striking for the past year is now under review or doesn't exist anymore. We're just too fucking messy. It's too chaotic, bro. We need some stability, and we need it fucking quickly because the damage is severe. Even though like the stock market might rally on this, like the long-term effects are so negative. Anyway, let's see Trump tell me I'm wrong and it's all good. It's the art of the deal, Dow 50K. You guys are so right. You guys are so fucking right. Trump is going to say Obama is an alien. Can you imagine? Bro comes out with a poster board. Obama coming out of a UFO. Why are we talking about this tariff shit? He's a literal alien. From planet Kenya. Isn't it crazy all the companies are going to ask for tariffs and get them and consumers pay? Yeah. It's also, this is a very good point, which is that 90% of the tariff was passed on to the consumer. So the companies asking for refunds have technically already been paid the cost by the customer.
Wow.
Oh, he's
That's a
here.
lot of people. That's a new record. We set a record every time. Well, thank you very much for being here. The Supreme Court's ruling on tariffs is deeply disappointing,
Okay.
and I'm ashamed of certain members of the court, absolutely ashamed, for not having the courage to do what's right for our country. I'd like to thank and congratulate Justices Thomas, Alito, and Kavanaugh for their strength and wisdom and love of our country,
Bro, even they didn't
which
agree
is
with you.
right now very proud of those justices. When you read the dissenting opinions, there's no way that anyone can argue against them. There's no way. Foreign countries that have been ripping us off for years are ecstatic. They're so happy. And they're dancing in the streets, but they won't be dancing for long. That
Oh,
I
yeah?
can assure you.
Okay.
The Democrats on the court are thrilled,
It was Republicans.
but they will automatically
It's a
vote no. They're
6-3
an
Republican
automatic
majority.
no, just like in Congress. They're an automatic no. They're against anything that makes America strong, healthy.
Republicans
and
voted
great
against
again.
it. They voted against your
They
tariffs.
also are a, frankly, disgrace to our nation, those justices. They're an automatic no, no matter how good a case you have. It's a no.
Do I have to pause? 2 justices that you appointed voted to strike down the tariffs. 2 Republicans that you appointed.
But you can't knock their loyalty. It's one thing you can do with some of our people. Others think they're being politically correct, which has happened before far too often with certain members of this court, and it's happened so often with this court. What a shame. Having to do with voting in particular, when in fact they're just being fools and lapdogs for the rhinos and the radical left Democrats, and not that this should have anything at all to do with it. They're very unpatriotic and disloyal to our Constitution. It's my opinion that the court has been swayed by foreign interests.
I'm so sorry. I'm going to freak out. They're not disloyal to the Constitution, bro. The Constitution is so specific. It's so fucking specific. Congress shall have power to do tariffs.
And a political movement that is far smaller than people would ever think. It's a small movement.
Okay.
I won by millions of votes. We won in a landslide.
Oh, my God. Talk about Joe
With
Biden.
all the cheating that went on, there was a lot of it.
Talk about
we
Joe
still
Biden,
won in a
please.
landslide. Too big to rig. But these people are obnoxious, ignorant, and loud. They're very loud. And I think certain justices are afraid of that. They don't want to do the right thing. They're afraid of it. This was an important case to me, more as a symbol of economic national security, and also, I would say, just for our country itself, so important, because we're doing so well as a country. We've never done so well. The good news is that there are methods, practices, statutes, and authorities as recognized by the entire court in this terrible decision.
Yeah, they're going to find other
And
ways to
also
get the
is
tariffs out.
recognized by Congress, which they refer to, that are even stronger than the IEEPA tariffs available to me as President of the United States. And in actuality, I was very modest in my ask of other countries and businesses because I wanted to do, and it's very important, I wanted to be very well behaved because I wanted to do anything, I didn't want to do anything that would affect the decision of the court. Because I understand the court. I understand how they are very easily swayed. I want to be a good boy. I have very effectively utilized tariffs over the past year to make America great again. Our stock market has just recently broken 50,000
50K!
on the Dow.
Dow,
And simultaneously,
50K!
and even more amazingly, broken 7,000 on the S&P, two numbers that everybody thought upon our landslide election
Holy!
victory could not be attained. Think of that. Nobody thought it was possible to do it within 4 years.
Nobody.
And we did it in 1 year. They said, you'll never be able, you'll go back and you read the geniuses, read their statements.
Dude, talk about aliens now.
All of the
and
Nobel
aliens?
Prize winners in economics, they said, no, you couldn't do it in 4 years.
Nobody said this.
Well, we didn't do it in 4 years. We did it in 1 year. We broke every record in the book, and we're continuing to do so. Tariffs have likewise been used to end 5 of the 8 wars that I settled. I settled 8 wars, whether you like it or not, including India, Pakistan, big ones, nuclear, could have been nuclear.
He's like a Woody
Prime Minister
doll.
of Pakistan
He just
said
pulled the
yesterday at
string.
the
He says the same
great
5
meeting
lines.
that we had,
Oh my God, bro.
Peace Board. He said yesterday that President Trump could have saved 35 million lives by getting us to stop fighting. They were getting ready to do some bad things. But they've
Talk about the
given
tariffs. That's what
us
this-
great national security, these tariffs have. And together with our strong borders,
The slow zoom on Pam Bondi, bro. Woo! Woo! Dude, we're through the looking glass, bro. Dude, I'll take anyone. Please, God, I'll take anyone. Give me fucking anyone, dude. Give me Mitt Romney. Give me anyone. I just can't do it. We can't do this for 4 years, bro. I'll handshake deal. Just put someone else in this fucking spot, at least for the next 3 years. This is crazy. He's not even talking about the tariffs. That's the big decision of the day. Hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs got struck down. You're talking about fucking the Dow and
reduced fentanyl coming into our country by 30%. When I use them as a penalty against countries illegally sending this poison into our country to poison our youth. All of those tariffs remain. They all remain. I don't know if you know that or not. They all remain. We're still getting them, and we will after the decision. I guess there's nobody left to appeal to. But again, those 3 people, such respect. I've had a lot of respect for them anyway, but such great respect. But other alternatives will now be used to replace the ones that the court incorrectly rejected. We have alternatives, great alternatives. Could be more money. We'll take in more money,
the Supreme Court
and
did
we'll
not
be a lot
incorrectly
stronger for it. We're
do
taking in
anything.
hundreds of billions of dollars. We'll continue to do so. To show you how ridiculous the opinion is, however, the court said that I'm not allowed to charge even $1. I can't charge $1. Can't charge $1. I would have used 1 penny, but we don't make the pennies anymore. We save money. Can't charge $1 to any country under IEPA. Not $1. I assume to protect other countries. This must have been done to protect those other.
No! It's to make you go through Congress. That's what, it's because it's not your power. You don't get to just do it. It's not an emergency. You don't get to go emergency fucking tariff on every single country on earth. That's just not how it works. Bro, the idea that it's like, that like if a fucking island in the South Pacific sells us more fish than they buy TVs, that's an economic emergency that requires you to leverage a 48% tariff. It's just stupid. You made it up.
Countries, certainly not the United States of America, which they should be interested in protecting. That's what they're supposed to be protecting. But I am allowed to cut off any and all trade or business with that same country. In other words, I can destroy the trade. I can destroy the country. I'm even allowed to impose a foreign country destroying embargo. I can embargo. I can do anything I want, but I can't charge $1. Because that's not what it says. And that's not the way it even reads.
Dude, this guy's
I can do anything I want to do to them, but I
So
can't.
when we interviewed Pete, I asked him about something on Lemonade Stand about elections, but he said Trump, as like the tide is turning against him, it's kind of like a scorpion in the corner. You know, he almost gets more dangerous the less power he has and the more things turn against him. It's crazy. I mean, he's just like lashing out. It's like so ridiculous. We have the president of this fucking 300 million person country talking about destroying. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's getting absurd.
Charge any money. So I'm allowed to destroy the country, but I can't charge them a little fee. I could give them a little 2 cent fee, but I cannot charge under any circumstances. I cannot charge them anything. Think of that. How ridiculous is that? I'm allowed to embargo them. I'm allowed to tell them you can't do business in the United States anymore. We want you out of here. But if I want to charge them $10, I can't do that.
He's saying it's incomprehensible. I just want to remind you, this is the line. It's not incomprehensible. It's so specific. The taxes, duties, imposts, and excises are Congress. That's what it says. That's why. If there was an embargo, that would be like an act of war. That would be like, and that's of course would be under the president. So it's not crazy that you could do that. Like if we were at war with Germany in World War II, you could embargo them, but you could not tariff them because that's under Congress. Fuck, dude.
Incorrect. Their decision's incorrect. But it doesn't matter because we have very powerful alternatives that have been approved by this decision. You know, they've been approved by the decision for those that thought they had us. And they're saying that I have the absolute right to license, but not the right to charge a license fee. So think of that. I have the right to license, which is a very powerful word. In many ways, license is more powerful than tariffs. In fact, I was thinking about using it. But they came up with the idea that I can license, just like the people that were opposing me
This guy's
told them to do, but not the right to charge a license fee. Think of that. Who ever heard of such a thing? What license has ever been issued without the right to charge a fee? You get a license, you charge a fee. It's automatic, but not with this court. But now the court has given me the unquestioned right to ban all sorts of things from coming into our country, to destroy foreign countries, but a much more powerful right than many people ever thought we even had, but not the right to charge a fee. How crazy is that? Our country is the hottest country anywhere in the world right now.
Just give me one Biden mention.
And it was a dead country 1.5 years ago under an incompetent president. But now I'm going to go in a different direction, probably the direction that I should have gone the first time, but I read the language. I'm very good at reading language, and it read our way 100%, but now I'll go the way I could have gone originally, which is even stronger than our original choice. As Justice Kavanaugh, whose stock has gone so up, you have to see, I'm so proud of him, wrote in his dissent, although I firmly disagree with the court's holding today, the decision might not substantially constrain a president's ability to order tariffs going forward. So, think of that. The decision might not substantially constrain. And it doesn't, he's right. In fact, I can charge much more than I was charging. So I'm going to just start. Although I firmly disagree with the court's holding today, the decision might not substantially.
Listen, I don't know where he's going to go with this. And I've only done research for today, so let me give you the baseline. There are other statutes, currently the ones that are done for the China tariffs, the aluminum tariffs, the steel tariffs, and a few others that are through different laws than IEEPA. And he can try to move all the tariffs into those. But those are harder to do, require individual comment and review periods with other branches of government. It takes a while. So maybe he'll try to skip all of that and unilaterally impose it. I'm not sure. But it could be this is just bluster. Like this is clearly a loss of power. There's no world where this is, oh my God, I have more power than I ever thought. It doesn't
constrain a president's ability to order tariffs going forward. That's because numerous other federal statutes, which is...
It's also worth mentioning, I want to cut in here. So our last GDP print for the quarter before this last one was pretty good. It was a surprisingly good GDP print. And everyone was like, oh, is all this working? And then we got the new GDP print today, and it was pretty horrible. And it turns out that the majority of the GDP boost that last quarter was people trying to front run the tariffs. There was a huge amount of extra purchasing, people to try to get ahead of the tariffs. And now the tariffs are impacting and doing quite a poor job on the economy. So realistically, removing the tariffs might actually be fucking good for this guy going into the midterms. Because they are just a drag on the economy. There's been no evidence at all that tariffs have done anything positive for the economy. They haven't brought manufacturing jobs. They've increased prices. 90% has been paid for by Americans. Like, theoretically, he should just talk his shit and be like, oh, well, we're going to bring it back, but then not do anything. Because the only way that he can try to help himself out going into the midterms is to not have these tariffs go up.
So true. Authorize the president to impose tariffs and might justify most, if not all, of the tariffs issued in this case. Even more tariffs, actually. Those statutes include, think of that, those statutes include, for example, the Trade Expansion Act of 1962, Section 232. All of these things I know so well. The Trade Act.
Next time, if some of you are in school, next time you're in front of the class and you're reading directly off a slide that you fucking ChatGPT generated, just pause in the middle and say, all these things I know so well. Like, zero understanding of what you're reading, just reading directly off of it.
Of 1974, sections 122, 201, 301, and the Tariff Act of 1930, section 338.
He's pretending he's memorized all the tariff acts.
It's a little bit longer process. I thought I'd make things simple, but they didn't let us do that. I would like to thank Justice Kavanaugh for frankly, his genius and his great ability. Very proud of that appointment. In actuality, while I am sure that they did not mean to do so, the Supreme Court's decision today made a president's ability to both regulate trade and impose tariffs more powerful and more crystal clear.
It did not do that.
Rather than less. I don't think they meant that. I'm sure they didn't. It's terrible. And to think that the Democrats who oppose this only because they want to go the opposite way, they'd like to pack the court. They want to put on 21 people. They want to pack the court, pack the Supreme Court. Maybe they should do it. Maybe they would be better off if they did it. They want to pack the court. They want to do anything to hurt our country.
We just got to be so clear. I'm sorry to reiterate. The current Supreme Court is 6-3 Republican, including 3 people you appointed. The current court is packed in one direction towards you. It's 6-3 Republican. These 3 you appointed. 2 of them voted against you. Okay? It was overwhelming. This is just, and then because this language is so clear, because they have to follow the Constitution, and the Constitution does not leave a lot of wiggle room. The Constitution is so clear on this. That's why this is stupid.
There will no longer be any doubt.
By the way, this is a broader problem with the country, but the Supreme Court shouldn't have justices that are part of a political party. The idea that we have red and blue justices in general is fucking stupid. It's fucking stupid. Because that affects their judgment. It doesn't make any fucking sense. If they have lifetime appointments, the idea that we're appointing different people from different parties is crazy. They shouldn't have parties. They should not have parties. Their job is to read the Constitution and our law in general, and then apply the law and make judgments where there's vague areas. That's their job. It shouldn't have anything to do with party.
And the income coming in and the protection of our companies and country will actually increase because of this decision.
And I'd like to propose, sorry, here at the end, instead of a Supreme Court, how about a council of streamers? Because they're the wisest, they're the smartest, they know the people well. I'd say we get, we get me, XQC, maybe Aiden Ross. We get some of these big names with big thoughts, and we hash it out, dude. We fucking talk. We get Sneeko in there. Maybe I could pull in Aiden. He's not really a streamer. We'll get him on the board, and we figure this out.
Meant that, but it's the way it is. Based on long-standing law and hundreds of
we get Canadian XQC. Listen, streamer knowledge transcends borders. I don't care if he's American or not. He knows his shit.
And even, as I was pointed out before, even thousands of victories over the years. To the contrary, the Supreme Court did not overrule tariffs. They merely overruled a particular use of IEEPA tariffs.
This is
And
true.
essentially, it's used to get a fee. I can do anything I want with IEPA, anything. I just can't charge
Can't do
anybody
anything
for it.
you want. You can't do anything you want.
I can license, I just can't charge them. It's ridiculous, but it's okay because we have other ways, numerous other ways. The ability to block.
I'll just try to forget it. IEPA was created in the 70s, and it was designed to give presidents the specific. I mean, again, it was sort of vague language what led to this, but it was supposed to be used for like specific sanctions on like, I don't know, certain criminal families, small specific sanctions. And it was used in his case 50 years later, after not being used 50 years, to do massive billion-dollar tariffs on every country in the world. Of course, that is not what IEPA was designed for, and the Supreme Court judged rightly.
Embargo,
But
restrict,
I'm getting IEP,
license, or
'cause you're
impose
rambling.
any other condition on a foreign country's ability to conduct trade with the United States under IEPA has been fully confirmed by this decision. So now there's no doubt, because, you know, there were a lot of questions about tariffs because no president was smart enough to use them to protect our country from those countries and businesses that were ripping us off.
Except the late, great McKinley.
Took a look at the deficits that we had with some of these countries. It was disgraceful what they got away with for many, many decades. But now we know, because this decision affirms all those things that some people weren't sure about. In order to protect, and it says so, in order to protect our country, a president can actually charge more tariffs than I was charging in the past period of.
I thought he was pretending to read a quote from something. I was like, that's not a quote from anywhere, bro.
Year under the various tariff authorities. So we can use other of the statutes, other of the tariff authorities, which have also been confirmed and are fully allowed. Therefore, effective immediately,
Okay.
all national security tariffs under Section 232 and existing Section 301 tariffs, they're existing, they're there, remain in place, fully in place,
Oh, that's already true, yeah.
and in full force and effect.
Yeah, but that's smaller.
Today, I will sign an order to impose a 10% global tariff under Section 122, over and above our normal tariffs already being charged. And we're also initiating several Section 301 and other investigations to protect our country from unfair trading practices of other countries and
Bro
companies.
couldn't even take the win. Bro couldn't even take the win. This could have helped you in the midterms, bro. This could have helped you in the midterms. You know what's crazy? So if I'm in Trump's shoes here, and I'm not a fucking idiot, here's what you could do. You can go, this is a disgrace. They struck on the tariffs, and it's going to cause economic pain. And then, as the economy continues to get worse, first of all, you've blunted some of the damage because there's no tariffs, but it's still, the jobs numbers are going to get worse. You can go, well, it's the Supreme Court's fault. My stuff was working, but the Supreme Court did it. You have something to blame. But instead, because you're putting another fucking 10% tariff globally, it's still all on you. Everyone knows it's all on you. It's absurd.
Thank you for your attention to this matter. And I say quite simply, which I've said for a long time, make America great again. And interestingly, we've already made it great, so I don't have to use that, but I don't think we'll ever give up on MAGA. MAGA is always going to be with us. If you have a few questions, you can let us know. But just to end, so we're going forward, we will be able to take in more money, and there'll no longer be doubt, because there was always doubt. I know the people that brought the lawsuit, and you know, they're sleazebags, major sleazebags, but I know them, and they're foreign
Thousands
country
of companies sued.
centric.
Thousands of companies sued.
They were sending things into our country, and the people representing them knew full well, but they were sending things into our country, and they were beneficial to other countries.
Costco is sending things into our country. They're the ones that sue. Like, everyone sued, bro. Starbucks, like every major company is sued over this, dude.
But very, very bad for us. And I stopped it, and we'll just keep it going. So we have more of
Dude, what's crazy is, so if you put new global tariffs through different statutes, we still have to refund the IEPA ones. So it's just such chaos, dude. If you're somebody trying to do business in America that has to import anything from other countries, it's just the past year has been nonstop. Oh, this tariff's up, it's down. This tariff's up, it's down. Oh, there's a loophole. Oh, there's not. Oh, it's passed. Oh, I get a refund. Oh, but I still have to do. It's fucking crazy. No one can plan or do business here. No one can choose to build a factory. No one can. It's such a pain in the ass. What you need is stability. That's how you get long-term outperformance and growth. You need stability. You need stable, understandable, clear rule of law, and you need a fucking non-chaotic administration.
We have a totally firm decision now, and I don't think the court meant it, because the court doesn't show great spirit toward our country, in my opinion. A lot of bad decisions, but there are usually ways around it. This is something we could have done, as Justice Kavanaugh said, we could have done this originally, but we're doing it now, and the numbers could be far greater than the hundreds of billions we've already taken in. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, I'm very curious. You've spoken about
in the red.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. Justice Thomas and Alito, as you know, are the most conservative constitutional justices. Do you think that you'll get to appoint 2 more justices later this term with similar ideologies? And what type of vetting process will they go through to ensure the uphold?
I don't know, but they're great justices. That's all I can say. And I hope they're going to be around a long time. I hope they're going to stay healthy. They're great people. They're great. And Justice Alito, too, to add to the group. These are great men. With a great love of our country and a great understanding of the law.
Mr. President, are you going to ask Congress to take additional action on tariffs now?
No, I don't need to. It's already been approved. I mean, I would ask Congress and probably get it. When people look at the real numbers, and you look at hundreds of billions of dollars that have come into our country. Yesterday, I was at a steel plant, as you know, and I went to great place, great plant, great, wonderful people. Mm-hmm. And they were telling me, I said to them,
sir?
You were there, a lot of the press in this room. Sir? Of course, I don't think this plane's big enough to take the press in this room, but a lot of the press right here. We were in Georgia. And I said to the owner, I made a speech at a factory. They make steel products. And I said, how are you? Nice to meet you. How's business? President, I'd love to kiss you. This is a very powerful man. I don't want to be kissed by that man, but a very powerful, strong man. He's been in the steel business for many years. His father started it. And he said, sir, I want to kiss you. I said, why? He said, because we were down to working 1 hour a week, and then you came in and imposed tariffs, and all of that foreign junk that they were dropping into our country stopped. And we're now going to double shifts, 7 days a week, and we may be very soon going to 24 hours around the clock, almost 7 days a week. He said, sir, I want to kiss you so badly. And I said, no, thank you. But you know what? He just to finalize it, he said, oh, this is a great place in Georgia. He said, all up and down the highway, same exact answer, sir. We're all going out of business. We're going to go bankrupt. We're all going out of business. Dude, and now every one of us are thriving, and we're hiring people like we haven't. He said, like I've never, and he's been in business for, I think, 45 years, like we've never hired before. That's because of tariffs. And we're going to keep it going the same way. And you're going to start to see the results in a year from now when all those factories start that are under construction right now. You see all the construction numbers are so good. Those construction workers are building factories that are going to be open, including not only AI, which is big, but car plants coming in from Canada, who ripped us off for 30% of our market. Mexico ripped us off for a big portion. It's just not true, bro. Over the years, they've taken our market. They've taken our cars.
Like it's not.
They manufacture them in Japan, Germany, and all over the place because nobody's standing in this position. The position I have as President of the United States had the insight, the courage, well, I don't know what it is, to charge tariffs. You can make your product outside. You can put our people out of business. You can put everybody on the unemployment rolls. But if you're going to make a car in some other country, you're going to pay a 15, 20, 30% tariff. And those things would have never happened. We wouldn't have lost our business. Same thing with, as an example, Taiwan. Taiwan came in. They stole our chip business. They make chips. For 30 years longer, they made chip, and they put our companies. Intel would be now the largest company. I saved Intel. I literally saved it at the beginning of this administration. And now all those companies in Taiwan are building factories in Arizona, Texas, and various other places because they don't want to pay tariffs. They're all pouring into the United States.
They were doing that before.
But just like that great patriot
before the
said
tariffs with the
yesterday,
CHIPS Act.
Sir, what you've done, nobody thought was possible. And Steve Moore, a highly respected economist, came into my office yesterday. He said, you've done something nobody's ever done. 22 Nobel Prize winners in economics said we would right now be in a recession. And you said, no, we're going to have a booming country. We're going to have a booming country. You were right. All 22 were wrong, and you were right. This country is booming, and it's booming because of the election on November 5th, and it's booming for another reason. It's booming because of tariffs. Yeah, please, go ahead.
What was said ahead of this
Thank you, Mr.
decision
President.
that if the Supreme
Yeah,
Court
please,
ruled
go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. What will you say to foreign nations who seek to renegotiate their deals? And what did you mean a moment ago when you said that the Supreme Court has been swayed by foreign interests?
Well, I think that foreign interests are represented by people that I believe have undue influence. They have a lot of influence over the Supreme Court, whether it's through fear or respect or friendships, I don't know. But I know some of the people that were involved on the other side, and I don't like them. I think they're real slime balls. And got to do what's right for the country. You got to do what's right for the Constitution. That's why I respect so much Justice Thomas and Alito, Kavanaugh, because they not only dissented, their dissent is so strong. When you read their dissent, you know, a lot of times you'll read a dissent and it's like, you don't know, it could go either way. There's no other way. The good news is, it's like Justice Kavanaugh said, very strongly said, you have other ways you can go. You don't have to go that way. You can go other way. There are numerous other ways.
A lot of times you'll read dissent.
And frankly, this should have been done by presidents many years ago. They allowed our country to be eaten alive. We lost 50% of our car business. We used to make cars. We made all the cars. And then Mexico came, Canada came, Japan and Germany. But they're all coming back now. They're all coming back at record levels. No, you please. I'm not talking to you. I don't talk to CNN. It's fake news. Go ahead.
Mr. President, yesterday you made the case that the economy is the hottest it's been in a long time. Right. January jobs report beat expectations, CPI report beat expectation, real wages are up. What would you tell Americans who are worried that this decision will kind of throw the economy that you have projected going in the right direction at a very rapid pace off track?
Well, thank you for the question. And I will say this. We really are.
What a fucking glazing kiss ass, bro. My God. What are these childproof questions? Sir, you've done everything right and everything's... it's fun. That's not an accurate reading of this last jobs report. The main story of the last jobs report was they revised down the jobs in 2025, his first year, by 1 million.
At a very important point, I've been waiting for this decision so long.
You've been waiting for this.
They could have made this decision a long time ago. Not complex. They're wrong on it. It's a ridiculous decision. But they should have released this a long time ago. We waited months. And that gave uncertainty. Now we have certainty. And I think you're going to see the country get much stronger because of it. Look, we were ripped off by almost every country in the world. If you look at the surpluses, almost every country in the world that did business with us, our people were stupid. And I blame presidents for it because they're ultimately the leader. We were being ripped off by almost every single country.
Listen, I want to get to the end of this conference. It was us ripping them off. Okay. We were giving them printed dollars and they were giving us real goods. They were giving us toys and oil and fucking fish, and we were giving them shit that we printed. It was the greatest deal of all time.
Country in the world had some massive surpluses. China had hundreds of billions of dollars in surpluses with the United States. They rebuilt China. They rebuilt the army. We built China's army by allowing that to happen. I have a great relationship with President Xi, but he respects our country now. Now, what we've done, I charged China a 20% tariff as a penalty for sending fentanyl in. And that was 20 times more than they could make by selling fentanyl. And I said, at some point you're going to say, and they have reduced it. Fentanyl is down by more than 30% coming into our country. Part of that is our strong border. We have a strong border now. But thank you.
Fentanyl deaths are down. Quick fact check, they are down 100%. And maybe part of it is a negotiation with Xi Jinping, because that's where a lot of the precursors come from. I'm not even going to throw that out. I call balls and strikes, bro. Fentanyl deaths are down. I don't think it has to do with the tariffs, but I do think they're down.
Mr. President, sir, you warned once in a social media post that if the Supreme Court did this, shot down your tariffs, the U.S. would be, quote, financially defenseless. Are we financially defenseless right now?
No, because we're doing something in a different way. We're doing something in a very powerful way, and we're using things that some people thought we should have used in the first place. But it's more complicated. It's a little more complicated. The process takes a little more time, but the end result is going to get us more money.
Keep zooming on his hands, bro.
And I think it's going to be great. Yeah, please. Peter, go ahead.
Thank you, President Trump. So, since Liberation Day, there's about $175 billion in tariff revenue that is now in limbo. Do you have to refund $175 billion?
Think of it.
I'll hear about this.
Very fair question.
Yeah.
They take months and months to write an opinion, and they don't even discuss that point. We've taken in hundreds of billions of dollars, not millions, hundreds of billions of dollars. And so I said, well, what happens to all the money that we took in? It wasn't discussed. Wouldn't you think they would have put one sentence in there saying that keep the money or don't keep the money, right? I guess it has to get litigated for the next 2 years. So they write this terrible...
Okay, they did mention some sentences on it. This is probably a fair point by him. And this is just another, it's his fault to begin with why we're in this situation. But it is just more chaos. I do think the refunds thing is so chaotic because it feels like it's just going to be endless lawsuits. And again, the SCOTUS didn't give a specific ruling on how this goes. And Amy Coney Barrett did say, this is going to be messy. And it is messy. Bro, it's fucked. I mean, we're just being so goofy right now with regards to all international trade, and it's a bad look. It's just hard to make investment decisions.
Defective decision, totally defective.
It's messy. It's Ronaldo, dude. It's the goat of dumb decisions either way.
Smart people, and what they do, they don't even talk about that. Your question is very basic. That was the first question I asked, also to make you feel good. I said, "What about all the money that we've taken in, sir?" They don't discuss that. How crazy is that?
What you're saying is, are you saying that you don't plan to honor refunds for companies that file for them?
I just told you the answer, right? I told you the answer. It's not discussed. We'll end up being in court for the next 5 years. Go ahead, Green.
Thank you, Mr. President. When you are talking about the relationship with countries that you have sought trade deals with, do you anticipate that they will seek to renegotiate those? What do you say to them, and do you view this as a potential undermining power for your negotiations?
We're going straight ahead with 10% straight across the board, which was the absolute right to do. And that's taking place. That's a lot of money coming into our country. And then during that period of about 5 months, we are doing the various investigations necessary to put fair tariffs or tariffs, period, on other countries. So we're doing that period, but we're immediately instituting the 10% provision, which we're allowed to do. And in the end, I think we'll take in more money than we've taken in before.
Mr. President, you've used the tariff revenue to pay for a host of federal policies. You claim that they will pay for them. What happens
well,
to
like the farmers. We took care of farmers. You know, the farmers were mistreated by foreign countries very badly, very, very badly. And last week, I gave them $12 billion out of tariff money.
No, I want to be clear here. I actually know what happened in this spot. Okay, so when you start a trade war with China and then they respond by not buying U.S. soybeans, for example, it fucks over soybean farmers in America. And so we have to give them tax money to help bail them out. So we are taking in tariff money from a trade war and using it to bail out people affected by the trade war. It's just... You're just adding more complexity and stupidity. It's not, no system can run effectively. It's like government involvement at every stage in the process. Nobody can just run a solid business. with anything overseas.
We intend to, out of tariff money, because just so you understand, we have tariffs. We just have them in a different way. And now they've been confirmed by the Supreme Court of the United States. So there's no longer that question out there about tariffs. And we'll be taking in hundreds of billions of dollars. And countries that have treated us badly will have to pay a price for treating us badly. And countries that have been good to us will be treated very well. We just left the top person in a place called Vietnam, just left my office. Great gentleman.
I love when he doesn't know their name. You just met a person, you don't know their name. The top person, the big wig.
Strong and smart.
They're strong
He
and
said,
smart.
you know, I think this means you're allowed to charge us more tariffs than before.
Really?
And
really? The top person of Vietnam walked in, had a meeting with you, saw this ruling and said, hey, I think you can charge me more tariffs than before. That's a real conversation you had with John Vietnam. Well then, I guess checkmate.
Canada said to Jameson, I might want to say it, Jameson, but Canada said, I hope you win this decision, because if you don't win, you'll actually be allowed to charge us, with a little additional work, higher tariffs. Jameson, you want to comment on that?
That's completely made up.
Yes, sir. So, to the president's point, we have a lot of tools out there.
Oh, good! Howard Lutnick's next to him. Oh, fucking good. That's the guy you want on your right-hand side. The Epstein Files fucking guy who also, his family bet that this decision would happen. He should be smiling ear to ear because number one, he's not in jail. And number two, he just made an absolute fucking windfall on this next 5 years of litigation over tariff money.
Today,
Stupid fuck. He needs to be in jail, bro. I hate Howard Lutnick.
Which are incredibly legally durable, where we can investigate and address unfair trading practices that have led to our huge trade deficit. And so you can look forward in the coming days and weeks to seeing all of that come out, and we're going to keep continuity in the program. We're going to keep addressing this so that the deficit can keep going down. That's the trend it has.
It's not going
make
down.
America great again.
No.
Several of Republicans in Congress have supported this decision by the Supreme Court. And Hakeem Jeffries, the Democratic leader, has called you a wannabe king. Why wouldn't
him a low IQ?
But why wouldn't
he doesn't even know? And I watched him the other day interview. The guy doesn't even know what a tariff is.
But there's been bipartisan criticism
No, not bipartisan.
of the tariffs.
Excuse me.
There's several
A few
Republicans
people.
have said that.
Yeah,
But
a
why
few people.
wouldn't you just work with Congress to come up with a plan?
I don't have to.
push tariffs.
I have the
through?
right to do tariffs, and I've always had the right to do tariffs. And it's all been approved by Congress, so there's no reason to do it. All we're doing is we're going through a little bit more complicated process. Not complicated very much, but a little more complicated than what we had. We'll be able to take in tariffs, more tariffs. And the Congress people and the Congress
down the Canadian tariffs last week.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
been
but
votes
you
in
know
the
why?
Senate against it.
Yeah, because we lost
Yeah,
two.
I want to, maybe you guys don't follow the minutia of politics closely. I want you to understand that Congress is currently Republican majority. Okay? In both the House and the Senate. You don't even need to understand that. Just know that Congress is Republican majority. Almost all of them vote lockstep with Trump. Theoretically, he could follow the Constitution, get a bill passed for some of these tariffs through Congress by using the Republican majority. The fact that he won't even do that is truly insane. It's truly insane, bro. The fact that he has written out Congress completely, says he doesn't have to do it, and is trying to unilaterally impose it is crazy.
Republicans or three Republicans because they're not good Republicans. What you don't say, you don't say that we got 215 votes.
You need 218 for something to pass.
Yeah, sure we do. We might have lost 3 votes, and what was the score on the Republican side? 215 to 3, right? But you don't say that. We have great unity. There's great unity in the Republican Party, and I hope everyone's going to vote Republican, because otherwise you won't have a country left, because these people have been they are destroying our country. Please.
Mr. President, the 122 tariffs, that 10%,
Yeah.
Is that going to be for 150 days, or do you want to charge that indefinitely?
We have a right to do pretty much what we want to do, but we're going to charge it starting effectively. I think it's 3 days from now. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, I used to speak to a lot of factory workers, a lot of manufacturing workers. What does the Supreme Court ruling say? What's that message to those factory workers?
Well, I think the factory workers are happy because we're now telling them that they're going to look. The man I met with yesterday, who owned a factory, was out of business. He was out of business. He
wanted to kiss you.
And now he's employing 5 times. In fact, I walked in. He's got a brand new crane. I said, "How old is that crane?" We got it in December. He's allowed to write it off in 1 minute. The Great Big Beautiful Act gave no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime. He said this great big beautiful bill, frankly, has been the best thing that's ever happened for the workers of the, much more so than for rich people. The only thing it does for rich people, it allows them to hire a lot more people. But when I saw him, and then he said, it's all up and down the line. This is a place in Georgia, all up and down. Other factories doing different, not only steel products, different. He said, every one of us was out of business. We could barely make it. Some of them were down to less than an hour a week. Think of it, 1 hour a week to make just a few little trinkets or whatever they make. Now they're going round the clock. I had it a month ago. I went to Michigan, went to Ford, and I met with Bill Ford, the head of Ford, and we were in one of the biggest plants, an original plant from the early 1900s, where, by the way, I might add this, it's not really relevant, but it's all relevant. Murders are down the lowest since 1900, around the time that he had this plant. That's 125 years. We have the lowest murder rate. Okay. And our crime is way down in the country. The factories that we're talking about, the people that we're talking about, they are so thrilled with Trump. So whether we charge IEEPA tariffs or whether we charge tariffs under a different section, that's what we're going to be doing.
50K.
There's no way we can lever. This is what happened to our country. This is why we owe $38 trillion, which we'll get rid of in pretty good course. We have a very incompetent Fed chairman.
I promise you this, on my soul and my heart and everything we have, whether it's Trump or any president, we are not getting rid of the $38 trillion in debt in pretty good course. There's zero. It will increase. By every budget any fucking politician puts in, it will increase. We are not getting rid of it. We're not even close to getting rid of it. We're not even beginning to turn the ship down or even slow it down. The idea that we're going to get rid of it in pretty good course by these tiny, minuscule tariffs in comparison, which have brought in maybe $150 billion, is fucking absurd. Which got struck down.
High interest rates for political reasons. He likes them, but we're going to have somebody very good. Interest rates should come down very substantially. I think we should pay the lowest interest rates on the planet. There should be no country, and we don't do that. We're number 38. This is just bad policy for a long period of time. But what's happened is we've made America strong again. We've made America great again. We should pay. As an example, the country of Switzerland, we were getting almost no tariffs from them. We had a $40 billion deficit. And the prime minister called me up. She said, but we are a small country, because I said we're going to raise it to 39% from nothing. That would have rendered them not very successful, as opposed to right now they're considered elite. But if we put a tariff, they would, and I realized then, she said, but sir, we are a small country. I said, you're a small country with a big deficit. For us, you're making a lot of money off the United States. If we do that, a lot of these elite countries, they're elite because we let them make so much.
There's so much to attack here. There's so much to break down. Okay, look, Switzerland just doesn't buy many things from America. Okay, they sell watches and chocolate and fucking gold bars and banking services. And there's just not many things we buy. So there is a deficit there. But what are they getting? They're getting printed dollars. And then, the idea is, okay, you say the trade deficit is them ripping us off. But what happened is their leader came in and gave you a fucking gold bar as a trophy. They had one meeting and then he brought the tariff down. So I think he just likes the deal making. He likes to be talked to by people. He likes to be able to do up, go down, go up, go down. But it's all just chaos.
Much money.
There's not a strategy.
And I want them to do well, but I don't want them to do well on the backs of the American taxpayer. So I appreciate your question. I think it's reasonable.
President Trump, you said that you were disappointed with that, but were you surprised with this decision? What you felt when you?
I was surprised because I thought that what we did was, number one, according to, I mean, I read the paragraphs. I read very well. Great comprehension. I read everything there
so
was to read,
embarrassing.
and I said,
It's
can't
so
lose this
embarrassing,
case.
bro. This is a president.
But we can when
This
judges
is
are political,
embarrassing.
when they want to be politically correct, when they're catering to a group of people in D.C. Maybe I don't know
Can
what
you
it is.
imagine like Abraham Lincoln or like JFK, like great presidents in history, just being like having to tell the whole crowd of Glazers that they're a great reader, they have great comprehension. It's just
It's because when you read it, there's no other interpretation. There is no other interpretation. But it's okay, because what has come out, and I'll say it for the third time and maybe the last time in a while, is that we've taken the uncertainty of tariffs out, because we had uncertainty. We got sued by sleazebags, I know them well, that are very outside country, China-centric, but outside country-centric. And they're going to end up not doing as well as they did before. America was becoming really, really, we're strong again. Hey, we have the strongest military. I rebuilt the military in the first term. We have the most powerful military. We make the best equipment. And even them, you know, we could do much better. We have people that get paid a lot of money to manufacture Patriot missiles and javelins and all the different things. But when you want them, they're too slow. And we put them on notice, and they're going to make, our country is building a lot of things right now, and our country is doing really well. And we're going to keep it that way. The bottom line is that the word certainty is now in the equation. Every single thing I said today is guaranteed certainty. It's been tested, as Jameson said 1,000 times. Literally, I said hundreds of times. He said, sir, actually thousands of times, and won in all of the courts. And we're just going back to that. And the problem is that we had other presidents that weren't into trade. Maybe they weren't business oriented.
They just weren't into
Maybe
it.
they weren't smart. We had some dummies too, you know.
Joe Biden.
Respectfully say, we had some real dummies. So we are going to keep it going just as before, probably more so. But you're no longer going to be asked every time I got up. You'd ask, well, what happens if you can't charge tariffs? Now we can. And by the way, in their decision, they specifically said we can do these. We have alternatives. Yeah.
David, on the trade deals that were negotiated using IEEPA tariffs, do those stand now, or are they have to be redone?
Well, some of them stand. Many of them stand. Some of them won't, and they'll be replaced with the other tariffs.
Mr. President, on the Supreme Court justices who ruled against this the
I
policy.
just want to be clear. Sorry, I got to specify. Every single trade deal that we've signed, even though the paper hasn't meant shit because he changes it afterward, has used IEEPA tariffs, except for the one with China. The only one that's different is China. So every single trade deal, other than the China one, is now under review, and they're going to have to do it again. They're going to have to find a fucking new negotiation or figure it out. So
He's striking it down. Are they still invited to your State of the Union next week? And will you speak with them?
They are invited, barely. Barely. 3 are happily invited. No, they're barely invited. Honestly, I couldn't care less if they come. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. On the trade deal, which is the framework, which is to be signed with India sometime soon, will that stand now? And on the decision, nothing changes.
No, nothing changes. They'll be paying tariffs, and we will not be paying tariffs. Our deal with India is they pay tariffs. This is a reversal from what it used to be, as you know. India, and I think Prime Minister Modi is a great gentleman, a great man, actually, but he was much smarter than the people that he was against in terms of the United States. He was ripping us off in India. So we made a deal with India, and it's a fair deal now, and we are not paying tariffs to them, and they are paying tariffs. We did a little flip.
are up
Thank you
as
so
of
much,
now
Mr.
for
President.
this. Mr. President.
No, the India deal is on, yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. President.
All the deals are on, we're just going to do it a different way.
Mr. President. Thank you so much, Mr. President.
A little
I think
flip.
there's another war that
Just a
is
little
started,
flip.
and you should take the credit, which is in Syria. Secretary Rubio, after his meeting in Munich with the Syrian Foreign Minister and the Kurdish General Muslim Abdi, he said that President Trump was directly involved in efforts to stop the fighting between the Kurds and the Syrians. How will your administration will make sure that this peace is sustained?
7 wars.
And do you support the idea
Well,
of...
it's a very different topic, and so I don't want to spend a lot of time, but all I can say is that the president of Syria, who I essentially put there, is doing a phenomenal job. He's a rough guy. He's not a choir boy. A choir boy couldn't do it. But Syria is coming together, really coming together well. And thus far, he's been very good to the Kurds. Yeah.
Thank you. Mr. President, what's your message to the Iranian people after 2 rounds of talks with them? Do you have any message to the Iranian people?
The Iranian people in Iran or people here?
People in Iran.
They better negotiate a fair deal. They better negotiate. You know, the people of Iran are a lot different than the leaders of Iran. And it's very, very, very sad situation.
It is also true.
But 32,000 people were killed over a relatively short period of time.
I think it's more, but
They were going to hang 800, 2 weeks ago, hang, some by crane. They lift them up with a tall crane, and they play them around the square. They were going to hang 837
Weirdly
people.
specific.
And I gave them the word, if you hang one person, even one person, that you're going to be hit right then and there. I wasn't waiting 2 weeks and negotiating. And they gave up the hanging. They didn't hang 837.
They killed many, many more than that, and you didn't do anything. And in fact, it was a pretty ghoulish thing to do, where he said, you know, stand back and stand by, we're on our way. And then protesters felt like they had that support, and then most of them were killed or jailed or had their eyes gouged out. It was absurd.
Supposedly they didn't hang anybody. But no, I feel very badly for the people of Iran. They've lived in hell. Please.
Thank you, sir. Mr. President, you mentioned multiple times foreign influence over the Supreme Court. Do you have evidence of that? And if not, will you investigate that?
You're going to find out.
What alternatives are you going to put into place in your relationship with Europe, and also those tariffs that has been called illegal? How they're going to go impact the relationship with Russia, that you sanctions?
Well, I want Europe to strengthen up. Europe has gone woke. Europe is not recognizable when you go into so many places. Not all countries. You look at.
We're talking about a U.S. tariff decision, and now we're talking about
Poland,
how Europe went woke. Bro.
Czech, Slovakia. There are some countries that have gone very much the opposite. Some really, and some others. But Europe has to be strong, and they become soft and not recognizable.
Did you say
go into
Czech,
some of the
pause,
countries. I don't want to be
Slovakia?
specific, but I think everyone knows what I'm talking about. And they're not recognizable. They become. The environmentalists have taken over. They've got windmills destroying their fields and their beautiful meadows and their oceans, and they're paying a fortune. Now, Europe has to get smart. Europe's getting killed on two things, energy and immigration. And if they don't solve both of them fast, Europe is not the same place. Yeah, please.
Justices Gorsuch and Barrett, are you surprised in particular by their decision today?
I am.
And do you regret nominating them?
I don't want to say whether or not I regret. I think their decision was terrible. Yeah. I think it's an embarrassment to their families. You want to know the truth?
Jesus Christ.
The two of them. Yeah.
Specifically on that $2,000.
It's so funny to be like, I don't want to say, and then jumps out. The two Supreme Court justices I nominated, who, by the way, in the past, he's praised and praised and praised. And when they were being nominated, and he was like, the woke radical Democrats hate them, but they'll do great for our country. And now they disagree with them on one thing where it's pretty obvious in the Constitution. And he goes, their families should be embarrassed of them. It's absurd.
Mr. President,
I didn't call you.
You didn't call me?
Yeah, Mr. President, to be clear, do you believe at the end of implementing these new tariff tools, the tariff rate and tariffs will ultimately be higher than they currently are?
Potentially higher. How much higher? It depends, whatever we want them to be. but we want them to be fair for other countries. And, you know, we have some countries that have treated us really badly for years, and it's going to be high for them. And we have other countries that have been very good, and it's going to be very reasonable for them.
Specifically on the tariffs question, I mean on the $2,000.
I didn't call you.
Mr. President, thank you, Mr. President. Do you have any plans to travel to India for the Quad Summit, and how do you think your relationship with India is right now?
I think my relationship with India is fantastic, and we're doing trade with India. India pulled out of Russia. You know, India was getting its
Why are we talking
oil
about?
from Russia, right? And they pull way back at my request because we want to settle that horrible war where 25,000 people are dying every month. And my relationship with Prime Minister Modi is, I would say, great. I also stopped the war between India and Pakistan.
Oh, really?
As you know, there were 10
If you solve 7 other wars, I'm on your
side.
side.
Going and probably going nuclear. And just yesterday, the Prime Minister of Pakistan said President Trump saved 35 million lives by getting them to stop. That's and I did it largely with tariffs. I said, look, you're going to fight, that's fine, but you're not going to do business with the United States, and you're going to pay a 200% tariff, each country. And they called up and they said, we have made peace. Okay?
A little voice for that. And Pakistan might have said that because right now there's a long-standing animosity between India and Pakistan. And Pakistan, through this Trump era, has figured out this genius strategy of just constantly glazing Trump to get U.S. benefits in this India-Pakistan conflict. And it's working. And like Trump is now cozying up with Pakistan, which is like so much less strategically important and less economically important than India. You know, our relationship with India is actually pretty important to help, you know, you kind of want them to have some animosity with China. If they get cozy with China, it's fucking game over. That's the fucking half the world population there. And so the fact that all of this is unraveled because Pakistan realized they could just glaze him constantly is crazy. It's just crazy.
I just want to thank you all. Look, great certainty has been brought back to the economy of the United States and actually the economy of the world because we generate so much in the world. We're the biggest in the world, and we're now the strongest by far. We were a country that was dead
How about
1.5 years ago. Now we have the hottest country in the world. We're going to keep it that way. Thank you very much, everybody.
Wow, what a conference.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Howard Lutnick, say some words.
32,000 were killed in Iran, sir?
Come on, Howard, speak up. Tell us about how you didn't go to the fucking island. So that's the tariff news for today, folks. Despite all the bluster there, I do think the effective tariff rate is going to be lower following today. It was close to like 17% all in across all countries, and I think after the IEPAs are gone, it's going to be 9%. They're going to roll something out. We'll get a little bit more, but again, the different ways he can do new tariffs require a lot more complexity and review process, and which he alluded to. The big thing is going to be this. The big thing is going to be how we handle these fucking refunds. Just thousands and thousands of companies, big and small, throughout America have sued. A lot of their debt is now owed by or owned by Howard Lutnick's family. It's a fucking mess, bro. People are going to be fucking abusing that to get rich off the government. It's just chaos, bro. It's just chaos, bro. And, you know, that's one of my big rallying cries here is that this administration, even if you agree with their aims, even if you did, you have to understand this guy's just an idiot. He's just an idiot, bro. He has no effective capability. Everything is done ad hoc and incorrectly, and it's just not working. It's just not, and the chaos is causing real harm. You may not see it in the Dow yet, but we're getting real harm. And you may see it if you're looking for a job. If you're looking for a job right now, you're going to see the harm that's being caused. And so that's my overall take on the economy here, and appreciate you guys listening, and thanks for checking in. I'm probably going to end stream right now. But I could talk for a little bit more. What else is going on today? There was other things I wanted to talk about. I want to talk about Zuckerberg's fucking hearing. They hauled him. They hauled him up. Hey, what's this? Rayboard, thank you for the 13 months. Atrioc, I love your content. I miss most of your streams, but I catch every one of your videos and Lemonade Stand episodes. Thank you for the amazing work you do. Rayboard, that's very kind of you to say. Thank you for the 12 months. I sincerely appreciate that. Rhino, thank you for the prime. Can you play video games like you used to? I will actually be playing video games pretty soon. With the release of Slay the Spire 2 in 2 weeks. I'm going to go huge on that. And then I'm going to China. Doing my China visit. But in 2 weeks, when Slay the Spire 2 comes out, I'm going to play the shit out of that. I'm going to play an absolute absurd amount of that game. Because Slay the Spire 1 is one of my favorite games of all time. And there's co-op. I might try to get some co-op going. That'd be awesome. I'm going to co-op with Ari, but also co-op with any other gamers that want to play. Maybe Stans or maybe Squeaks. I don't know if they play that game, but Nvidia-OpenAI. Oh yeah, there was a little story there. I'll give you a little story. Wait, do I have the? Yeah, okay. So we've talked about this before, so there's not a clip or anything. I'm just telling you if you're live. Nvidia, if you remember, they said, hey, we're going to give $100 billion to OpenAI. And then they walked it back. And as of today, the new number came in, and it was $30 billion. So the deal was abandoned, and now it's $30 billion. And instead of it's $100 billion, like, almost like not no strings attached, but now it's like they're getting equity. They're just basically buying stock in OpenAI for $30 billion. And where's that $30 billion going? OpenAI will reinvest much of its new capital into Nvidia hardware. So instead of $100 billion, it's basically, here's a $30 billion check you can use to spend on Nvidia. It's a voucher for you can buy GPUs. It's just another circular fucking vendor financing. It's a $30 billion Nvidia gift card. Store credit. So it's definitely a loop, bro. It's definitely a loop. I do think, I stand by this. I think I've become more and more, I think AI is a very, very real, very powerful technology that's going to shake our world. Probably not in positive ways. Well, some positive, some negative, but it's just people thinking it's going to disappear are wrong. That being said, in the interim, in the shorter term, it's absolutely a financial bubble, and absolutely the heart of it is OpenAI. So both can be true. Both can be true, and I think both are true. Did you see this study that said Gen Z is the first generation that's less intelligent than the previous one? Yeah, I saw the study. It was called Atrioc Twitch Chat over the past 4 years. Yeah, it's been a controlled study. And the findings are irrefutable. They're irrefutable, bro. To be honest, I had into this study, and does anyone have, there was a really good, minute and a half speech. Maybe it was a 2-minute speech by a guy about this in front of, I think it was Congress. Man, I'm blanking on the guy's name. He was an education, anyone knows where he was, I would love to watch that with chat. It was pretty good. But anyway, it's true. I hate to break it to Gen Z. I'm sure it doesn't mean you guys are the top end of the curve, smartest Gen Zers. But actually, this is the first time we've seen sustained decline, generation over generation, in math and reading. It's bad. And his blame was entirely on phones. And I think it's true. Or basically, yeah, I think it was like probably, thank you guys. This is it. There's screen time right here. We should watch this actually, legitimately. I think this is actually very interesting.
Name is Dr. Jerry.
Oh wait, I need to, here. Thanks for finding this.
Thank you guys. My name is Dr. Jared Cooney Horvath. I'm a former teacher turned cognitive neuroscientist who focuses on human learning. And I do not receive funding, nor have I ever, from big tech. So a sad fact our generation has to face is this. Our kids are less cognitively capable than we were at their age. Since we've been standardizing and measuring cognitive development since the late 1800s, every generation has outperformed their parents, and that's exactly what we want. We want sharper kids. And the reason for this largely has been school. Each generation spends more time in school. We use school to develop our cognition. Congratulations, you see your correlation.
Yeah.
Until Gen Z. Gen Z is the first generation in modern history to underperform us on basically every cognitive measure we have, from basic attention, to memory, to literacy, to numeracy, to executive functioning, to even general IQ, even though they go to more school than we did. So why? What happened? What happened around 2010 that decoupled schooling from cognitive development? It can't be school. Schools basically look the same. It can't be biology. This hasn't had enough time to change. The answer appears to be the tools we are using within schools to drive that learning. Across 80 countries, as Gene was just saying, if you look at the data...
Yeah, 2010 is smartphone and social media. Smartphone comes out in 2007, but it's only rich people for a few years and doesn't have the app store. It's not big enough. By 2010, it achieved over 50% penetration. And social media became a thing. And that's it. He'll talk about it more, but I legitimately think that it has just broken our brains. And it's broken people's brains of every age. But I think when it breaks your brains before you had a chance to even learn anything in school, I think that's the problem. I just think people, you know what I'm saying? It's broken everyone's brains. My parents' brains, my fucking, everyone's brains are somewhat broken, mine included. But I just think, man, people just don't give a fuck from an early age now.
Once countries adopt digital technology widely in schools, performance goes down significantly, to the point where kids who use computers about 5 hours per day in school for learning purposes will score over 2/3 of a standard deviation less than kids who rarely or never touch tech at school. And that's across 80 countries. Bring it home to the US. Let's go to the US. We have our NAEP. That's our big data. Take any state, and here's a fun experiment you can try. Take any state NAEP data, compare that to when that state adopted one-to-one technology widely, and watch what happens. The NAEP data will plateau and then start to drop. Now, as Gene said, of course, this is all correlative. What we really want is causative. To get causation, what you need is academic research and you need mechanisms, explanations for why we're seeing what we're seeing. Luckily, we have academic research stretching back to 1962 that shows the exact same story for 60 years. When tech enters education, learning goes down. In fact, one of the biggest ed psychologists right now, Dylan William out of the UK, recently said, ed tech is a revolution that's been coming for 60 years. And we're gonna have to wait another 60 because it ain't doing anything. Now that's research, but
why don't we put, have they tried streamers, is all I'm saying. I feel like when they do ed tech, it's like Kahoot and quizzes and phones and bullshit. But what about big A clips in classrooms? What about, and I want a government contract for that. What about VTuber teachers? Okay. What about that? Let's innovate here.
Now we need mechanisms. Luckily, over the last about 2 decades, we've been doing a lot of work in what we call the science of learning. How do human beings learn? And we now have the clear understanding of why tech does not work for learning, and it is all biological. It's not that the tech isn't being used well enough, we haven't been trained enough, we need better programs. It's we have evolved biologically to learn from other human beings, not from screens. And screens circumvent that process. I won't go too deeply into the mechanisms, they can get boring, but just know they're there if you want to talk about them. So that leaves us with 2 options. Option 1, when you know something is wrong, do better. So we could just say, hey, mea culpa, get some of this tech out of schools, go back to what we know works, some analog methods, cool. Or 2, we could redefine our terms. We could redefine what it means to be an effective learner. I want to end with one quick story here. Think back to your childhood, to your schooling. I guarantee all of us at one point took a test on reading comprehension. And the way it looked is this.
Yeah.
Here's a passage of about 750 words. Here are 10 to 12 questions about that passage. Most of them are inferential, not factual. They're asking you to go beyond what you just read to see what you understood.
Yep.
Cool. Last year, the SATs had a reading comprehension section. Here's what it looked like. Here is a single sentence of 75 words. Here is one question, fact-based, about that sentence. Next. Here is another sentence of 75 words. Here is one question about that sentence. Next. Last year, they redefined reading comprehension to mean 54 short sentences with one question about each. That is skimming. That's not reading.
I'm predisposed to believe what this guy's saying because I've seen it. I've seen it on social media. I've seen it in his chat. People just can't, they have no reading comprehension anymore, bro. They can't, especially if the passage is more than a fucking paragraph. And I heard, you know, kids in school don't have to read a full book anymore. They just read the like short sections. Like they don't give you, you know, I'm not saying these are great books. I think actually school does a bad job of making reading seem interesting. But if they don't give you Great Gatsby and say, this semester we're going to read this and talk about it, they'll give you like a passage from it. They'll give you like a section. You get book shorts. And it's like, what the fuck are we talking about? What? And then, did you see that thing where it's like, the fucking film students who can no longer sit through films? Where they're interviewing teachers of film class in colleges, and then the students, they sign up to be film majors, and they can't watch a full film. And it's like, first of all, two parts of that. Okay, you could just not like the movie, fine. Why did you sign up to be a film major? Why are people signing up to be film majors if they don't even like watching a movie? You know, so this crisis is real, man. I don't know how to say it. Like, I know there's a certain element of like boomer whatever, but it is real. This is 100% real. And we got to adapt in some way because it's crazy.
Reading. Why would we ever do that? Because what do kids do on computers? They skim. So rather than determining what do we want our children to do and gearing education towards that, we are redefining education to better suit the tool. That's not progress, that is surrender. So as we—
ChatGPT off speech. Bro, you ChatGPT that fucking speech? Or what?
We go through our discussion today, there's gonna be a lot of talk about smartphones and social media, rightly so. But I'm the voice here to remind you that even in schools, it doesn't matter what the size of the screen is, if it's a phone, if it's a laptop, if it's a desktop, and it doesn't matter who bought it. Is it school sanctioned? Does it have the word education stamped on it? It doesn't matter. All of these things are also gonna hurt learning, which in turn are gonna hurt our kids' cognitive development, right at the time when we need our kids to be sharper than we are. So thank you guys so much for today. I look forward to talking with you.
Have we tried an even bigger screen? What if we taught kids in movie theaters? What if we built screens even bigger than that? Do you know what I'm saying? Maybe the problem is they haven't gone big enough. What if we go to the Sphere? Or do like a smart board in IMAX? That shit could actually, it'd be hard to ignore. That should be hard to ignore. Anyway, I do think this is a problem. High key. And without even pandering, I don't think it's actually, first of all, it's, you know, this is an aggregate of everybody and it's a small decline, but it's breaking a trend. I don't think every fucking Gen Z is stupid. People I'm talking about are probably not the people who give a shit about watching a Trump press conference about tariffs. But I do think, like, if you don't even get the baseline of ever having, I don't know, read a few books or thought about something in a deeper way than a surface level, or I just think, I think you're set up to be taken advantage of. I think you're set up to be taken advantage of. To either be easily made angry, to be easily confused, to be easily misled, I just think that stuff is more likely. And that's happening to fucking boomers left and right. So don't get me wrong. I don't think it's an age thing too much, but I think it gives you some kind of baseline. And I do think on a deeper level, a fundamental level, I think democracy as a whole, which is the system of government that I prefer, kind of relies on a public that is at least somewhat informed or capable of reasoning. So this stuff's dangerous. What you're saying is we need to go back to a monarchy and get this whole thing sorted out. All right, yep. And I think you should be the king. Bix001. Hey, Link711, thank you for the 5 gifted. Stock guy, what up? All streamers on this platform will have a 10% tariff imposed by my channel. Thank you for your attention to this matter. All right, well, Vixnix, thank you for the 10 gifted. Can you take one of those back and give it to Stock Guy? The tariff it's indisputable. As we heard today, the tariffs are more solid than ever before. The Supreme Court practically confirmed them. So, we got to make sure. Duke of Fair, thank you for the subs, but remember to give one to Stock Guy. That's the way the tariffs work. When do you think we'll get a revision to the jobs report? I don't know. I mean, the big revisions come a year later at the end of the year. So maybe in January of 2027, we'll realize that this year got subtracted by another million or 2 million or whatever. Is the study comparing how smart generations were at each age? It is actually, and this is a fair point. Maybe everyone got stupider right now, and Gen Z is getting compared against the baseline of people who were before phones. That is the study. I mean, it's like people at 17 or at 8, whatever. It's like, that's a fair thought. I do think, for what it's worth, that post 2010 and especially post 2020, everyone has gotten stupider. I legitimately think everybody, top to bottom, has gotten stupider. And we're losing the ability to remember the before times. And if you're young, you don't even know them. You're too young. But I can barely remember the before times, and I do recall people were smarter. People had more attention. People could watch full movies without even thinking about checking a phone. They didn't have phones, but it wasn't even on their mind. They didn't even think about the idea of, like, I'm bored, I need to check something else. They could read larger passages in books. Like, that shit was just normal. It wasn't hard. It wasn't like they had some superhuman focus. They just didn't even think about it. But now it's like so common. So I don't know. You know what it was? Probably the vax. It was probably the vax, dude. I think we were all smarter until we got Joe Biden's needle in our brain. And also, yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to make it super political because I don't think it's political. I think it has to do with screens and big tech. And however, watching that speech, I am just forever reminded, like, bro, not even about what he's standing for. It's not about that. He's just dumb, bro. The way he talks is like a child. It's not, and it's just not normal. It's not like every president talks like this. He's the only one. And this is a fall off. I mean, yeah, there was a big difference in how older presidents talked, regardless of what they stood on political aisle. They just had like a understanding and authority of how they spoke. They understood the issues on a better level. I'm not even talking about decorum. I mean, like, intelligence to what they're saying, the sentence structure, the complexity of it, Carvana fell 20%. Atrioc, you were right. I'm not going to be right till Carvana's 0. Till that fucking stock is delisted and everyone involved is hauled off to jail. That's when I'll be right. Okay? Until then, stock moves up, stock moves down, bro. Carvana's a fraudulent company. Trump said he was being a good boy. He did say that today. I mean, legitimately, dude, I remember growing up, there was everyone, either side of political aisle really would make fun of Bush for sounding stupid. There would be the Bushisms. But if you actually listen to a George Bush speech compared to Trump today, he sounds like a genius. He sounds like Bush sounded a lot smarter. The quality has fallen off a cliff. So I don't know. Anyway, all right, chat. I think I'll wrap it here. I'm gonna play a little basketball. I do think I'll be live again today. I know it sounds a shocker. I know you can't trust me, and it may not be true, but I do want to go live again today and talk about Prince Andrew's arrest. I found some stuff that I think I think CoffeeZilla does an amazing job with this stuff, and he's already covered it. So I don't really want to say anything, but I have some things he didn't necessarily cover that I thought I could talk about. So I'll bring that up. And I'll come back. We'll talk about that, and then I'm gonna watch Lakers at 7. So I gotta finish that prize, guys. I appreciate you. Thanks for watching. And remember, if you're interested in some of the gaming side, I promise I'm very excited to play Slay Spire 2 when that comes out. So until then, there's so much fucking news, and it's interesting to me. We got to cover it. 7, thanks for watching. Goodbye. Let's raid somebody. We got a little viewers at an early time today. Who's live? Maybe we got Stans or someone? No, Stan's not live. Ludwig's doing Minecraft. We'll raid Ludwig, I guess. Let's raid Lud. Oh, wait, Stock Guy's still live? We'll raid Stock Guy. He tariffed me. Is he live? No, he's not live.
Jason Frank, known as the Stock Guy on Twitch. The stock market's...
All right. In that case, cheer Lud on in the mid-offs. Howard Ludwig. He's competing in a Minecraft tournament today. Wish him some luck. Goodbye, good luck, good night. Bye.